Very interested in what you were saying about how there are numerous voices that could be realized in an individual, and something as personal and particular as the voice, it could be a construct, or is certainly as a result of influence, bias that can come from cultural, class, racial, sex, gender. Like there are all manner of inflections, and that's of course where it began to become helpful to with regard to the performance. Is I thought, the reason I speak this way is because I'm from this particular place, both culturally and geographically, sociologically, psychologically, and that blew me away. Actually.
Well, and it's not only it's interesting, isn't it? Because we're verging on a discussion that shifts into things that people tend to regard as accents or dialects. But then what happens very quickly is people sort of make an assumption that somebody who comes from a particular place speaks exactly the same as somebody else who comes from a particular place, which is actually not true. And in actual fact, you might speak differently on one day to the next. So the way that you speak is partly a factor of location. It's also a factor of time. It's also a factor of how do I identify myself, to what am I drawn. So even the place you come from becomes part of the roots of you that you kind of form when you send a message back out into the world. It's a kind of place doesn't just exist as geography, it also exists inside us. And the voice doesn't just exist as a series of sort of repeatable acoustic tricks. It's a signal that comes from inside us as a living reality that's not constant as we pass through life. There are all sorts of stages up until a very good colleague of mine called Annie Morrison, who's writing at the moment about this and is incredibly wise, cites the fact that until an infant is something like 6 months old, you can't tell anything about them. You can't tell racial type, you can't tell cultural identity, ethnicity, you can't tell location, you can't tell gender, all of those things. What you've just got is this ball or bubble of extraordinary cells with such plasticity that it could grow into any linguistic sense of being, with identity being, in the world. Which I find amazing, absolutely amazing. So what one's attempting to do a lot of the time is to allow people to work with trust, with playfulness, with curiosity, without a sense of hard boundary about the self, to go back to a time where they've got that kind of flexibility and freedom.
So amazing, because I was thinking of the idiom "find your voice," and like the idea that means find your essential self or your true self, and also the correlates in what you're saying about sort of vocal truth or even respiratory truth, and the ideas, certain spiritual ideas, i.e. the unborn self, the unrealized self, the self that you are before you tether yourself to identity. That there's, that I could have been 1,000 different people. There are still various expressions. And when I was approaching the character, there was a point where you said, you speak like this because in this part of Essex at this time there's a sense to flatten it out and hold it back, and all these kind of all these aspects of so it actually made me feel a bit emotional, because I recognised that my voice was a consequence of sort of conditions that made me feel sad, and then you paired that rather brilliantly actually with the idea of Boris Johnson, who has a voice that sounds entitled, and that really struck me as sort of a very important observation somehow.
Yeah. I mean, the power of the bulldog, can we say? But it's and not the first person to sort of make use of that, to dip into a sort of a mythology, if you will, and of course maybe that's what every accent does. We're working on the idea that these are all systematic ways of looking at the voice. So it's a system. You could call it an idiolect. Each person has got their individual variant of a speech community's collective identity, as it were. But what, of course, we want people to do, as speakers, I think we want people to do this, is to recognize that of all of these different branches and trees and leaves of sounds that we could use, is actually to enjoy difference and variance and respect that, because that actually is somebody's Twitter handle. It's Twitter before the technology. It's a real sense of person and place and identity. But of course, it happens principally because the muscle sets, and pretty much we've all got the same muscles. I think we could there's a lot of research to say that that's normally the case. So from where does all of this variation come? And it can only come from the fact that we can use all of these muscles, tendons, bone structures, spaces that are shifting, echo chambers in the body, that we can use them in a completely different array of ways. I mean, it's just absolutely startling that the same equipment can produce this many experiences.
Thanks for watching this podcast and going all the way to the end of it. Would you so kind as to click the bell, might not be there, could be over there, and subscribing so that we can infiltrate your serenity and peace of mind with jangling bells and buzzes. Thank you.